out against the political economic structure that we have right now. And obviously, we're headed towards a police state if this is how they want to suspend our civil liberties. I think it's 7 articles that were suspended on the G20 weekend that were just thrown to the wind, and that's a front against human rights. I was held to the ground to another man's feet, one arm hyperextended over my back, another pinned forward, and as I looked to my right, I saw the police encircling, so I knew what was going to happen next, and I looked to the left, and I saw a boot come and kick me in the face. It was the first boot. The officer commanded me to stop holding on to the man's leg. I'm pinned to the ground. There's not much I can do. I look to the right again, and he kicks me again in the head. After that, I said I'm not holding on to any legs. You know, they let go of my arms and zipped me. I was bleeding. I received 3 stitches. I had a concussion. Within the hospital, they did bring me to the hospital, Eastern General, and the doctor who was there went through, cleaned my cut, cleaned my wounds, stitched me. She suppressed the blood swell on the side of my head, which sent me into a state of shock. I writhed in pain there for a while. I'm not sure exactly how long.
I was standing there without any warning. The police called in the cavalrymen, the police on the horses. They came right at us. I had to run. I dropped my camera. I dropped all of my belongings. I tried to retrieve them. The police kept pushing me back. I begged and pleaded with them, please let me have my things. I want my things back. They just laughed at me. They mocked me. They made funny faces at me, and they kept pushing me back.
They're doing that to try and make it so that we don't want to protest anymore. But obviously it's not working. If you can see here, there's still plenty of people out exercising our rights that are guaranteed to us in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and the rights that were taken away from us over the G20 weekend. They're afraid of people standing up for their rights and trying to defend their freedoms. So that's what we need more of. We need more people to come out. We need more people to say that no, we're not going to just stand idly by and let you take away our rights. We're not going to stand idly by and let you form a world government and let, you know, the international banks just, you know, do whatever they want. This is a global corporate fascist takeover. And we saw their enforcers firsthand here in Toronto with the G20. And you know, if you read the stories or, you know, listen to some of these interviews or anything like that, you'll realize it was just, you know, a bunch of thugs came in and, you know, criminal thugs started beating up, assaulting, arresting, and horribly treating a bunch of peaceful, innocent Canadians, and it was disgraceful. And obviously, we need a real investigation, not some sort of phony cover-up. What the police did was they assaulted innocent people, innocent Canadians. You know, they ripped the leg off a 57-year-old amputee and told him to hop to the squad car and arrested him.
We just sort of were getting ushered down south and ended up on the Esplanade in front of Novotel, and people were singing "Give Peace a Chance," all this kind of stuff, and it was really cool. There was no violence. We joined in, you know, it was awesome, and before we knew it, we were barricaded in on both sides by riot cops who wouldn't answer any questions, wouldn't let us go. They were just completely stone-faced, and one of them even said, you should have left when we told you to, although they never told us to. And this couple came out of the Keg restaurant and tried to leave, and they said, it's too late. And the couple was like, what the hell is going on? And so, of course, all these 200 people end up getting arrested. It doesn't matter if you were passing through or if you lived in the condo or coming out of the restaurant. They wouldn't listen to you. Some guy tried to show ID that he lived in that condo, and they shot pepper bullets at his feet, and all these people went running and screaming into the Novotel. I had to watch my girlfriend dragged away and cuffed as they dragged her away, really roughly for absolutely no reason. Threw her in a paddy wagon. I got thrown in a paddy wagon, and before I knew it, I was in a prison bus full of guys taken down to the detention center. The place was just completely unbelievable. You roll in this huge hangar, there's people screaming in cages all along the left-hand side.
I explained that I had to leave the group because I need to use the washroom, and could he direct me where to go. The riot officer took me out of the crowd by the arm and then placed me under arrest and said I was under arrest for conspiring to willfully commit property damage, criminal activity, all of this sort of stuff.
Okay, folks, do you understand? Everybody's going to be arrested. We'll do it nice and easy, okay? We don't want to hurt anybody, but you are going to be arrested.
For what?
I told you, conspiracy to commit mischief, so stand here. We'll take you one at a time, okay? Thank you.
You're interpreting it all wrong, sir. We're peacefully assembling. Nobody's conspiring for mischief.
I asked the police officer where could I go to the bathroom, because that was my quest of getting out of the group. He told me that I could use the paddy wagon. I said, you've got to be joking. I said, I'm going to do this. I didn't choose to do it in public with all those other people for fear of being charged. And now you're telling me I have to pee in the paddy wagon. I had no choice. I have a kidney that doesn't work properly, and I've never been so disgusted and felt so violated in all my life. Because my hands were cuffed, I couldn't even help myself to prepare to do that. So I had all these strange girls do it for me. That bloody cop stood at the wired part of the door, which was wide open, and watched me urinate. He watched me urinate, and I even addressed him, and I said, that is against the law. I said, do you know what that does? He couldn't even imagine, and neither can other people, how that would affect someone and traumatize someone. But he didn't just do it with me, he did it with 3 other girls. And I don't give a shit who this guy was, a cop. I gave him no goddamn right to look at a girl urinate, because you know what, if it was someone else in the neighborhood that was doing that, they would be picked up, thrown in jail, and charged. It's the most humiliating and embarrassing thing I've ever had to say on camera, but people have to know the truth, and that's why I'm here today, and I'm wanting my civil liberties and my human dignity, and this is why I'm protesting today, so this doesn't happen to other people.
Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! This is what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Our streets! 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 Our streets!
As more and more video evidence is coming in, it appears as if the Black Bloc was almost given a complete green light to terrorize the city. Some police officers were even told to stand down and not engage. So the Canadian government is going to have us believe that $1.2 billion were spent on security, but they couldn't stop 30 or 40 Black Bloc guys from terrorizing the city. That just doesn't make any sense unless you consider the fact that this could be a setup orchestrated by the police. So my question would be, what is your opinion on the idea of undercover police officers being used as agent provocateurs to start the violence?
Rebecca?
Montebello, 2007. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not something the left has dreamed up on their own. This has happened before. There was a tactical report that was put on our Facebook group, the Miami Report. This is something that has been done in the past. It should be looked at and answered for. If they were funneling violent protesters or even encouraging violent protests in any way, and I'm not saying that they are, I don't have the information. I want a public inquiry so that I get this information, assigning blame before we get that. Totally premature.
If you want to call it a conspiracy theory or not, I think it's irrelevant.
Like I said before, I'm not in any way trying to assign blame. This is one more reason we need a full public inquiry that has binding results and can actually compel people in the public service to testify. Because the Canadian people deserve an answer to that question. It's a valid question that's been raised by many people.
Like, you know, I was there and I remember seeing it. I remember seeing the police and the riot cops just standing there. So I think it is valid. I know you're saying that maybe it's not, but I think it's completely valid. We really need to question this. We really need an inquiry because I was there. They just stood there and didn't do anything.
So for about an hour and a half, a group of maybe, 50 kids were purposely allowed to vandalize, the entire city, go do as much vandalism as they wanted. The police were ordered to stand down, as had come out in a Toronto Sun article, where a policeman said, yes, we were ordered to stand down. We could have easily rounded up all these kids.
No fire truck showed up to do the burning cars. When the windows were smashed, the cops sat there literally with their arms folded, okay? And that's what happened.
how an hour and a half of destruction happens with police looking on and doing nothing, I find more than highly suspect. Maybe if they were involved, yeah, there's more than reason to believe that. And if they weren't, they still let it happen. One way or another, we all have an obligation to find out what the truth is. I don't care what side of the political fence you're on, you should care about the truth.